The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's Nikki Glaser Podcast. Second show of the week. The last show of the week. Brian Frangi's here. Noah's here. What's up, guys?
How's your cut? Heard you got cut.
Yeah, I got cut. I got sliced
Whoa.
in the face. I was having a procedure, a medical procedure. Yes, not a medical procedure. I was having I don't want to say who did it. I don't want to incriminate anyone, but I was at a doctor type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a accident and a tool they were using like scraped my face and cut my face. And it felt like a pinch at first. Like maybe it was just like kind of snagged on my cheek. And then I was like, and I felt stupid making that noise because I was like, oh, you're overreacting to like a pinch and they're going to think you're, because I pride myself on like in this type of setting where people are, I don't want to give away what kind of, you can probably figure out what was near my face. A tool was near my face.
Sorry, I brought it up.
No. I was going to bring it up, but I just don't want to. I love the person who did this to me and they do amazing work for me. And I would recommend people go to them. Everyone makes mistakes. Literally everyone. Where was I just hearing this? Oh, I heard it last night during Michelle Obama's speech at the DNC. She's like, by the way, everyone's going to make mistakes. And I love that she brought that up during this time where we're supposed to be like, everything's going to be perfect if it's Kamala. Like, no, everyone's going to make mistakes, but we can all come together and like get through them. No one is perfect. No one. And so initially when I talked about this, like on the girls' chat and like to my parents and everyone, they're like, that idiot. They're like so mad. And I'm like, have you never like accidentally done something while you're doing your job that is completely not what you meant to do? Like, of course, we all have. So I didn't care at all. I just felt like I was overreacting. And I really pride myself, like I was saying, on being someone who, when I'm sitting in this chair where most people are like really nervous, I would say to go to see this person, I fucking love it. And I fall asleep sometimes. And it's calming to me. So
I still have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Even though I've literally talked about this recently on the show.
I still don't know.
You don't?
No,
it's break dancing.
Oh, right. So
I'm talking about Ray Gun. She was
so the tool in your
doing
face
the kangaroo hop on my face.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't trust her with
so
that.
I'm laying in a chair and someone has a tool near my cheek right here.
Uh-huh.
And the tool kind of fell down and cut my face. And so I'm glad I did exaggerate what I thought was an exaggeration at the time, that a pinch, because it was a cut. And it stopped, and I think it would have kept slicing even further. So it just like has like a little crescent moon slice on my face.
That's pretty
cool. It was bleeding a lot, and you could tell, if you're listening to this person who did this, I love you. I'm never going to stop going to you. You've changed my life. Wow. Literally, everyone thinks I have fake whatever you do because
you can, like,
they look so good.
You can like spin on your head now and stuff.
It really does look good, whatever they do.
Yeah, the thing that this person does for me, yes, they have made it so I am able to win, to represent my country in a sport that will never be at the Olympics.
I hope
best
not.
Smile, I win at the next Olympics.
Okay, can I just say what I like about what you did as far as how you told the story on Girls Chat?
Yeah.
I like that you stopped and you spoke up, because so often something will happen. We're just like, oh, okay, we'll just wait. I'm sure that they'll know.
It hurt so bad that it was almost like involuntary. That I was like, but then I felt as soon, when you're like reacting to something, and a lot of times you do react involuntarily, and it's like a little, like my sister the other day in Vienna. That's a sentence I'll never say again.
Wow.
She had
Jesus
a bee
Christ.
on her finger.
The other day in Vienna with my sister.
When we were touring the palace, she had a bee on her finger and went like, and like really overreacted, because, by the way, stop overreacting to bees. If you can, anyway, she like flipped her hand really hard and she hit her husband's like Apple Watch so hard she almost like broke her finger because she was overreacting. And so it just seemed, I think it just seemed crazy that she did that in response to like a bee that was not going to hurt her. Like, bees don't want to sting you. You just, everyone relax around them.
Yeah.
And everything's going to be fine.
I've been trying to train Allie to stop doing that, because when we first got together, she was really sensitive about bees. She would like run. She would like sprint out of the room.
Okay,
or
so
if we were
she's
on a
changed
balcony,
a little?
She's gotten a lot better. Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, it's
Because what you
possible,
learn
folks.
is if there are bees around, even if there are a lot of bees around, as long as you didn't like jostle the beehive or
The
whatever.
hive.
If there's 4 bees around, you just stand still, sit in your chair, keep doing whatever you are doing. They'll buzz around and then they'll buzz off.
Yep.
They
every time.
literally don't.
They don't care.
They die if they sting you, and they know that. So they're
Yeah.
not. Same with manta rays. Unless you step on one and violently kick it, it's not gonna. It's not gonna. Send one of its spears through your heart.
Yeah.
Because it will die defending you. It's like these bees don't want to die. So the only reason they do that is if they think you're a huge threat to them because you're screaming and swatting at them.
Yes.
So if you literally don't move, they'll never sting you. The only thing that they will do is just crawl on you or whatever. And I know that's like disturbing to people. I get it. But my sister
Also,
claimed like
a bee sting doesn't hurt that much.
it really doesn't.
Now, some people are allergic to them,
overreact.
and for those people,
Yes.
I give you a pass.
Same.
But I will say this: if it's a wasp, I'm not staying.
Wasps are disgusting. They look like they're carrying cargo. They
Yes.
look like they're about to dump gas on your city. Like I don't. They don't seem to know where they're going. They don't have a plan. Like I hate a bug June bugs don't have a plan. Like they're flying willy nilly. Centipedes,
Oh, God.
really fast house centipedes don't have a
Wait, what
plan.
is-
They can crawl in your vagina. They will crawl in your mouth. But bees seem to know where they're going for the
Yeah.
most part. They just
Looking
want to
for
sniff
flowers.
around your Coke can. They find out it's Diet Coke, and then they get addicted to it, and they need 6 a day. But they're not going to hurt you. But I will say that it's nice to hear that Allie has learned to not overreact, because my sister's like, Nikki, I can't not act like that. And I go, yes,
Oh.
you can, by just practicing it run it through in your head right now. Like you see a bee, how are you going to act? Like you can change the way you involuntarily respond to something. Like I've done it before too, where I have to practice how I'm going to feel when this certain thing comes where I get heightened anxiety around it. And then when it happens, because I practiced it, I have a different response. So my sister yelled at me initially because I'm like, Lauren, like bees, first of all, we need to be so nice to them. They're all
Yeah.
going extinct, and we're
We
all
owe
going to go
them.
extinct because of them. So we have to actually protect bees and keep them alive desperately. And Lauren was like, I know, Nikki, I can't help it, like natural sister response. And I realized my response was shitty too, because I'm yelling at her about something she couldn't help. But I said, Lauren, I'm sorry. We were like looking at knickknacks in Vienna on this thrift
Oh
or
my
like,
God,
outdoor market. Sorry,
My
I was in
sister and
Vienna. I can't
We're
help it.
browsing the knickknacks in Vienna.
They were telling us no photos because we kept trying to take pictures of different things so we could text them to each other later and make jokes. But anyway, I was like, Lauren, I just want to say, I'm sorry I yelled at you about the bee thing, but if you just get it in your mind that they really aren't going to hurt you, and you like practice how you're going to respond next time and like visualize it, you can respond differently. It's not like you don't need to just always go like, well, I can't help it. It was but I'm also on the side of like, you can't help it, but you can prepare for future things, and behaviors can change. We've just seen it all right now in Allie. She responds differently. She doesn't have to run and jump off the balcony anymore because that
It
was
took some
interfering
time.
with her life. Yeah, I'm sure.
It was slow. Like if she hangs out in the balcony and there's a bee, at first she would just calmly stand and leave the balcony. And then eventually she would just sit there for a little while and then leave the balcony. And now she can sit there where there's a bee flying around. It's like incremental exposure therapy.
Totally. It can change. But I will say that, so when I involuntarily was like, I felt bad because I love this guy, and I was embarrassed that something hurt because I pride myself on like nothing ever hurts. But then I felt blood trickling down my cheek.
Oh my God.
Down to like my chin. And you can just tell when someone's like fucked up and they're trying to like stay calm and act like it's not a big deal. But I was just like, and I immediately felt really bad that it happened because it was a mistake. And I wanted to be the opposite of the person that's like, you cut me?
Uh-huh.
Are you a fool? Because I just pictured certain people that would do that of like,
Right.
how could you do that? Because it, even the way my mom responded, that idiot. And I go, you don't know him. You first of all, you don't even know if it's a girl or guy. She knew nothing of you if you're listening to this. And you're not an idiot. You're actually you've changed my life. You've saved me thousands and thousands of dollars. I was going to get fake whatever you do. And then I realized that I can just do, anyway,
Fake whatever.
I've never had a fucking medical professional listen to me and hear me go, this is what I want, and go, oh, okay, I'll do that. Like, I know I'm not an expert, but I'm like, hey, the thing that, you know how like I don't like this, could you just like put that, like, I talking in my completely podunk, I don't know anything vernacular about the subject. He was able to do what I wanted and didn't treat me like a moron. Like, well, we can't do that. Well, we could take the whole thing out.
I
like,
know. God
he just
damn
did
it.
it. He made it work.
What the
and
fuck
guess what?
is
It
that?
fucking works. And I've talked about it on Instagram Live once because someone was like, accused me of having fake whatever this is.
Let's just keep this going. This is great.
Someone was like, I like your new fake
breakdance?
blank. And I go, they're not fake. But they look fake because I've come up with a way to actually have the perfect thing without getting them all removed and, you know, filed down to little nubs and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. Actually, it's like $80 every time I go in. It's not a big deal.
Little nubs. This isn't breakdancing.
Well, if you spin hard enough on those knees, they will eventually erode to little nubs.
I guess that's true. There was
So
a guy in the subway in New York City who would break dance, and he had no arms and no legs.
I think that might be advantageous.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah.
How do you
They don't
spin a
get in the
plate?
way.
On like a
little stick.
little stick?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I was bleeding. But I was so I know that he was probably thinking, my friend today on Girls Chat was like, oh my God, he was probably like, of all the people I have to slice in the face, it's like someone who's on TV and like,
I mean,
it's like, it just, but actually, I'm the best person to slice in the face because you know what I said? I said, do not worry about it. I actually don't care about scars. I literally don't. Even Chris today was like, you got to figure out a way that doesn't scar. And I was like, I kind of like scars. Is that weird? I don't like acne scars per se because that is associated with this thing that we assume is like dirty for some reason, even though it's not. Whatever. You know, I can't help the way I think. But scars from like an injury or like someone cut you, it's not like, please don't cut me. But like, I don't care. And I don't think they're ugly, and I don't think they make me feel less than. I kind of like them, so I don't mind if it's scars.
Scar on your face, pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. What am I trying to be? I'm not gonna be. Even if I do have a scar on my face, I still could be the face of L'Oreal when I turn 55, and they finally.
No, that
I'm
scar
famous
could
enough.
help you. I mean, it kind of feels like places like that are looking for imperfections or whatever you want to call them.
At least now, it's popular.
Yeah.
I mean, Padma's scar on her arm. I'm sorry for whatever happened to her, but it's fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cooler than not having it. I have to say, I love her. And every time I see it, I'm like, that is so sexy and badass. You seem to look, and I hope this isn't offensive to people's scars, you look like a super villain or a superhero or villain, but like a villain that's cool that I like want to be.
Like
anyway,
one that turned a new leaf and now is a good guy.
Can you imagine cutting someone in the face and then the person not only doesn't yell at you and go, what are you doing? But they go, don't worry about it. I like scars. And then they also, to make you feel better, because I was just picturing if I were him, how I would want the patient to respond. And that's what I did. And I go, not only do I like scars, I go, and by the way, my face is bleeding all of the time because I get like Botox. So I constantly have like lasers that like cut up your face. And so I was offering all of this just like that no one needed it, right? Like I had a right to just be upset about what happened just for the sake of myself. But instead I was like nurturing his feelings.
Cut me again. Why? Cut off my whole face.
Make it even. Yeah, slice it all off. And then he goes, I hope you don't have anything like important tonight. And I go, I actually do. I was like, I'm going to a fundraiser for I didn't know it at the time, but it was like I knew it at the time was for abortion rights, but it's to vote yes on Amendment 3, which is to make it, at least partially legal to get an abortion in Missouri, which if you don't know, in Missouri, it is illegal to get an abortion, even in cases of rape or incest. It's the worst state for it. And if you are a Missouri, like I learned so much at this fundraiser last night where I was only hired to just come and all I had to do was take pictures. I didn't have to perform or anything. And we raised over $50,000
Wow.
And they literally said it was because they got so many more people to sign up to go after it was announced I was going to be there. And some people did think I was performing, even though it said explicitly in the invite, like, she is not performing. Because they like looked at they go, I was like, why are you not talking? And then I looked at the invite again and it was like, she will not be performing. Because it's not, you know, you don't want to perform on someone's deck in a backyard. But it was at this guy's house who I love. And they raised $50,000 to get, I mean, they're like, thank you so much for coming. And I'm like, I cannot believe what all of you have done to get abortion maybe legalized again in our state. Like, they have worked their asses off. They were stopped at every turn. Their wording wasn't right to put it on the ballot. They kept these fucking Republicans kept finding ways to figure out why they could maybe not get it on the ballot. And like, you didn't put a comma here, and so they have to start over and get signatures again and sue the courts. And like, it's just so impossible. And these people are seriously tirelessly working for women's reproductive rights, which affect all of us, not just women who have who want to get abortions and need them because they're in abusive relationships or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, if you live in Missouri, please vote yes on 3. Do not just vote for president and then skip the rest of the shit. You can skip comptroller. I don't give a fuck about that. But please vote yes on Amendment 3. Please spread the word to anyone you know in Missouri, because there are people. I am very well versed in like I feel like what's going on. Like, not well versed, but versed. And I did not know about Amendment 3. I didn't know about voting yes. I probably would have read it all in the little booth. But sometimes you're late for something and you get in there and you go, I'll just do president and leave. Please vote yes on Amendment 3. It will save so many lives. We'll get so many women out of abusive situations. It's proven that women that can't get abortions stay in abusive relationships. They have more kids that are brought into abusive relationships. Those kids, it's like, it's bad for everyone. Please vote Amendment 3. Yes on Amendment 3. I really believe in it. We raised a lot of money last night. And thank you to the ACLU of St. Louis and Missouri and for doing all your work and all the abortion doctors I met last night that are like risking their lives doing what they're doing. And yes, and to shout out to all the women who have to take off from work and get fired for their jobs because they have to schedule it at the exact right time. And there's all these rules about you have to go do it. They have to do a pelvic exam before you get an abortion, which is literally pointless to do. But they make you do it so that it's invasive, so that it makes you feel whorish and like, it makes you feel taken advantage. Like, when you're a woman and you want to get an abortion, you have to go in for a pelvic exam, which is just someone being inside your vagina. The doctor that has to do these says, I feel disgusting doing these because they're pointless and they're just made to make this woman feel uncomfortable to discourage her from doing it. So it's a pointless fingering of your vagina by a doctor, mandatory, because they want to discourage you from getting an abortion. It's all so tricky and disgusting. And vote yes on 3, and we'll be back after this. So yeah, I had to go do this appearance last night. And with a Band-Aid on my face. And I said, I'll just be like Nelly. That's what I told the doctor too. I was like, it'll be fun. It's like, it's not a big deal that my face is bleeding. I get to this thing and I'm just like, I have a Band-Aid on my face. It's because I got cut today. And everyone's just like, what happened? We'll sue him. And I'm like, no, he's a good guy. Everyone makes mistakes. What is going on here? And it's healing nicely. And that's the end of that. But I've
seen you get cut in the face before and react in a similar manner.
What?
It was when I've seen you. This is not the first time you've been cut in the face, Nikki.
What?
We were walking between sets when we were preparing for the, I think it was either the roast or the special.
It was
and
the roast.
this woman was flailing in the street. I don't know what she was doing.
Pointing her friends to go like in this direction. She was like over here, like waving a car or something.
And she had either rings or really long nails, and she just straight up smacked you in the face, literally cut you right below your eye. You're bleeding, and this is like 3 days before you're filming your special.
And 3 minutes before I'm on stage at the Laugh Factory because we're walking down Sunset. Yes.
So how? Okay, I need like the reactions. How did that lady react? Was she like super sorry about it, or
did she do that? I felt like the lady
because she felt like she had me. I remember her going, but it was so quick and I kept walking because I was late for my set, and Andrew. And Brian and Chris were like walking behind me, so I was just like, come on guys, we got to keep going. And then I'm like, I think I am bleeding, and it was bleeding. And just like, also another mistake, like if you're someone who like gets mad at people for making mistakes, like you have to know that you're having a bad day. Like because if I was in a good mood yesterday and I let it go because yes, I was upset that I had cut on my face and then I had to put a Band-Aid on my face to go to this thing where everyone's like, Nikki's a star, and I walk in with I put a Band-Aid and I put makeup over it, and people really couldn't see it. It was actually, people were like, oh, I didn't even notice it till you said something. But the way you react to things when things are not done intentionally to you is a reflection of what's going on in your life. Like, if I would have been in a bad mood, I would have been a little bit more grumpy about it. Or if, he just caught me, I was in a good mood that day, or like at that moment when I got cut in the face. And so it really, because no one means to do that. I said to my mom, I go, do you think he meant to do that? She goes, no, but what an idiot. And I go, okay. Or what he said, it's never happened before.
Wow.
I believe him. Are we not allowed to cut someone in the face once in our lives? Like, I don't know. Like,
Brian, come here.
I just think
You're gonna
that,
do
like,
me?
it's
I don't
just, I remember one time I had a boyfriend, I caught him going through my phone, and he felt horrible about it. And
He was going through your phone?
yeah, he was suspecting that maybe something squirrely was going on. So
How did he get in there?
My alarm went off, and this was fucking forever ago, but my alarm went off, and I was walking a dog of my friends that I had to walk. And so I just left without my phone, and I got
knew
back.
your passcode, or
No, but when the alarm goes off to like shut it off, it's like still, and maybe this is a time where there weren't passcodes on phones. I literally don't remember.
yeah.
But I got back, and it was like on a text message with me and a guy that I hadn't talked to in forever, but I knew it was a guy that this guy might think I'm involved with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I knew it was like, a text message from 2 years before. So you could tell he like searched the name.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And
so
I
when
was
you
like-
came back, you caught him with your
no,
your phone
I
in
just
his-
saw the phone still where I left it, but it was on that screen.
Right. So clearly he had searched.
I think he accidentally maybe got out of it and then couldn't get back in because of the password or something. And then it was
rookie
just
move.
left on where he had been searching. Anyway,
What a fool.
everything flipped through my head of like being like mad about it and being like, what the fuck? It's an invasion of privacy. But I was just like, I could see myself doing the same thing if I'm feeling like insecure in a relationship and like maybe thinking he's pulled away and maybe he's talking to someone, he leaves his phone out, and I'm just like, it's right there. Like, I could see a world where I could also make this intentional mistake. Like, even though there was intent behind it, there was motive behind it. He had to click a bunch of buttons and type things in. Like, it's still like could be a mistake, I guess. And I remember just being like, hey, did you look through my phone? And he was just like, yeah, I did. And I was like, okay, why? And then we kind of talked, and he was so embarrassed, so ashamed of himself, like really disgusted with himself. And I was just like, and we had to like go. He had to go to work, and I had to go to work. And I just remember I was just like, just don't. This is gonna blow over. It's not a big deal. Please don't let this ruin your day. Because I was just thinking, what would I want to know? What would I want to hear right now? And this thing that I could easily do. And I would want my boyfriend to say, I'm not going to break up with you over this. This isn't going to end us. It's a conversation later, but don't catastrophize this and beat yourself up. We're all human. And I like gave him that. And I felt so good that I did, because I would have wanted that. So I just think my best version of myself is when I can instantly put myself in their shoes and then react accordingly. And maybe I gave a little too much to the doctor yesterday by being like, I love a cut on my face. Like, I was really trying to make him feel better, but that's
Kill
actually
me.
what I would have wanted from someone that I cut in the face.
Right.
So I kind of gave him that, but it was a little bit like, I didn't need to, offer up my face as a place for him to, sharpen his knives. But that was just my reaction in the moment.
I have to
I was proud of myself
admit, one time in my life I did look through one of my girlfriend's phones, and I feel great shame about it. But I was feeling so insecure. I had a hunch that things were going on, and I just knew the person's passcode. So it was like I looked in it, and they were cheating on me. So
Yeah.
I was like,
That's always a tough one.
I didn't feel vindicated or anything. I just
No.
like, it just made me feel even worse.
Yeah,
But I'll
that's
never
a tough
do it.
one, 'cause-
Obviously, I trust my wife. I mean, my wife will hand me her phone and be like, look through whatever you want. I'll hand her mine.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's like not even an issue
That's such
anymore.
freedom when you can
Yeah.
like hand your partner your phone and you're not worried about someone texting you that like
No,
you're
there's, like,
talking
literally-
about
Seeing
them,
anything.
like not even cheating,
Yeah.
just like something will come up where you're like, maybe like, I don't know, just anything. Like, it's just such
Why are you
freedom.
texting Rob videos of Kamala Harris? It's like,
He's like, you got a Swift alert, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. This app I pay $1.99 a month for that tells me when she's wearing a new skirt during 1989 Eras tour. Yeah, that's an interesting conundrum. I met someone recently who his girlfriend had gone through his phone, and they were kind of like dating but not dating. They hadn't had the exclusive talk yet, but it was kind of like he was flirting with someone and just sexy texting with them, and nothing had happened. But she caught that, and he was upset at the invasion of privacy, but she was upset at him, and he felt guilty about cheating or whatever. So he couldn't be mad at her. And I'm like, that's the problem. Honestly, you can. You can separate the two. You can be mad about the invasion of privacy, but you can also feel bad that you were cheating on her. And it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you discover that someone's cheating on you through nefarious means, then you lose a little bit of the upper hand to be mad at them for cheating on you.
Some women would think, no, I didn't, and I obviously knew, so fuck you, and I should have gone through it, and I did the right thing. But I would disagree with those women and say, nope, you did something.
So then, what is
you stole from the rich to give to the poor, but you still stole.
Yeah. So then what, you need to catch them in the act? Like you need to be coming home innocently from work early? No, you just need
to not be in a relationship. You need to go work on yourself if you're either in a relationship with someone who's cheating on you, or you are so distrusting of someone who isn't cheating on you. That is like, your relationship is going to end if you're someone who's so jealous that anytime they're on their phone, you think that they're cheating. You are either with someone who's cheating on you, which sucks, and just leave him anyway. If you think, leave. I would say, but that's easier said than done, obviously. Yeah. Noah, what's your experience with this?
Well, I was going to also admit that I've gone through an ex's phone, and it's exactly what you said, Nikki. It was just like a very toxic relationship. I did find flirting, but at the same time, like I felt like this, like the shittiest feeling after doing it. Because one is I found the flirting. And then two is I felt like it's just like gross going in the phone. And yeah, ultimately the relationship ended. So it's like I could have just skipped that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
I would never do that today, by the way, because our phones are like our journals and they're so personal.
But you would if you would though, if you were an unhealthier version of you. And the phones being in journals is not what's keeping you out of them. You're a healthier person in a healthy relationship where you trust Avi.
True.
And you trust that he has integrity, which, by the way, like, I remember you telling me something, and you can cut this if you don't want, but in there, but I always remember it. It's like, you were having trust issues that had nothing to do with obvious behavior, but just based on your past relationships. And you're kind of like a little bit getting jealous of things that he was maybe having relationships, even like friendships with other women or whatever, just like acquaintanceships with other women. And he told you, like, I forget what he said, but he was like, you have to trust me to have integrity. Like, maybe men do want to have sex with other women, or like can be attracted to other women, but they're not going to because they have integrity. So you can't, of course they're going to think her boobs look nice. They're not fucking I've always said this. You should get your man checked for his bones being riddled with cancer if he's not getting turned on by something that it was also about you that turned him on, like boobs or tits or ass. Like, he's sick if he's not still getting turned on. There's something wrong with his libido. There's something wrong with his mood. There's something wrong inside. A healthy man should be turned on by tits that aren't yours. I'm sorry, ladies. It's true. But will he suck on those tits? No, because he has integrity, because you don't do everything that you impulsively want to do. So he's allowed to have those inner thoughts, and you can appreciate his integrity that keeps it. That's what love is having enough integrity to not do those things because they love you.
Yeah, right? Love is a constant repression of natural urges.
I would agree that monogamy makes it such, and that it's not very healthy. But I do believe that if you praise men for not fucking, I know this sounds crazy, but men do want to have sex with other things. Do they have the opportunity? Probably not. Like, literally. And they don't, because they're with you. And that means something. It's not because they don't want to.
Right.
If you were in the other room, too, maybe, by the way, also are attracted to other things, and they don't because they love you. And that is enough. And so I just don't understand us all kind of trying to convince ourselves that our partner is no longer attracted to anyone else. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
That and if you believe that your partner's attracted to anyone else, you're gonna get Laci Peterson. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. You're not. But what?
Think about it this way: if your partner is, it's more impressive, isn't it? More flattering if your partner is attracted to all these people, but still chooses you versus they're not attracted to anybody except you.
That's what I said to my friend Sarah Lena, because we were talking about this and I was like, would you really like your partner to be not attracted to anyone and only attracted to you? Because I would feel like I didn't win then.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to be like, I choose you, even though I do want other things. Like, I'm constantly winning. Whereas instead they're just like, well, my dick only works for you, so I guess I'll stick around. Like, that's boring to me. And she was like, no, I'd like him to not have any feelings for anyone but me. And I understand where that comes from too, for people that have been and cheated on and their trust has been broken. I want to get back to my Laci Peterson comment. It made it sound like I thought she was like at fault for getting murdered because she didn't acknowledge that Scott had sexual desires. That is not what happened there at all. I'm fascinated by this case. The Laci Peterson documentary is awesome. Everyone should watch it. They did a really good job with it.
Can you tell me? I don't know what's going on.
Please.
Laci Peterson was a woman who was murdered by her husband in 2003, Christmas Eve. What he did was he probably did a quiet murder where he strangled her or suffocated her. He then let the dog out with its leash on, then met a girl he was having an affair with November 22nd or something like that. By December 9th, he told that woman who had found out from friends that this guy was married. She didn't find out, but Scott, who was lying to this woman and saying like, I'm single and I want to have a family. And this woman had a young daughter. And he's like, I don't need a baby. I don't need to have kids. Your daughter is enough for me. Being a stepdad would be enough for me. He has a baby on the way with his wife, 2 hours from where this woman lives, maybe an hour, 100 miles or something. So this woman, Amber Fry, who's his fiance or the girl that he was having an affair with, she has no idea he's married. He's lied to her. A friend of hers runs into a friend of his and they find out Scott's married and they call Scott and go, if you're not going to tell Amber, we will. So then Scott, December 9th, calls Amber and says, I lied. I was married, but I lost my wife. She doesn't ask details because he's so upset about it. December 9th is the same day he also buys a boat, doesn't tell Laci, doesn't tell anyone, buys a boat, then cut to December 24th, takes a boat out for the first time, has the whole ticket to go where he like had to dock it or whatever it is. I don't even know what you do with a boat. And he offers that to police because by then his wife is missing. And what they think he did is like strangled his wife and then he disposed of her body in this bay because they later find it. He is insane. He keeps lying to this woman who doesn't really know about Laci. She finds out about Laci because she finally sees the news and this guy's all over the news, but she keeps it up like she hasn't seen the news and she keeps calling him and he pretends that he's in Paris for New Year's Eve, but he's at a candlelight vigil to look for Laci. Like, and he's like, I can see the Eiffel Tower. And he's like at a candlelight vigil for his missing wife, who he doesn't seem to give a fuck about that she's missing. He is such a psychopath. He clearly does it. The whole documentary, I'm not giving too much. I am giving a lot away, but I'm not giving too much away.
Why did he let the dog out?
Because he wanted to have it be like she was kidnapped while she was walking the dog.
Did they find the dog?
The dog ended up, the neighbor saw the dog with the leash on and just put it in their backyard. So he gets home from disposing of her body. He sees the dog with the leash on in the backyard, thinks nothing of it. His wife isn't there. Her purse is still there. Her clothes are still there. Her shoes are still there. Her car is still there. And he decides to eat some pizza and take a shower and wash his one pair of clothes that he was wearing. What a normal thing for a guy to do whose wife he comes home to and the dog has a leash on and he doesn't know where she is. What a cool, normal thing for an 8.5-month pregnant woman and her to be gone, and the husband washes his clothes in the middle of the day. Guilty. And then they check his fucking computer. This is where I would have convicted. I'm gonna go off a little bit. If you've seen this documentary, skip to the next section if you haven't, because the thing is, Scott clearly did it from the get-go, but it's all circumstantial evidence. This guy, they check his fucking computer. This is 2002, by the way. So this is before like people knew that you could really get into your computer. He searches the tides of the bay he's going to.
Oh my God.
Which is not something fishermen check. Like the tides are not something you would check. And by the way, he said he was fishing, but all the fishing equipment he brought was unpackaged or like still packaged. So the lure he said he used, all this stuff, such a lie. Then they find a pair of nose pliers in his boat that have her hair wrapped around them. Explain to me that, Scott. And also, Laci didn't know about the boat. No one in Laci's family knew about the boat. He had bought this boat. They're like, why were you were out on a boat? Since when do you own a boat? Like, everyone was on his side at first, even Laci's family, and we're like, he didn't do it. But then
the boat.
Amber Fry comes out and is like, I was dating this guy because
What a
eventually
name.
she has to go to the press because the pictures of them at a Christmas party where Laci had to go to a Christmas party by herself because Scott is at a Christmas party with his new girlfriend who he's
Man.
lying to and saying, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. My wife is gone, which he said December 9th, and she goes missing December 24th. So he predicted that she was going to be gone before she was gone. You're fucking guilty. Then he goes on Diane Sawyer and she's like, tell me about Connor's room. Connor is his unborn baby that they had the whole room decked out because it's supposed to be born in a month. This baby's room is like, he's like, I can't go in there. And I'm not going to go back in there till I have a little boy to put back in. And that's before they find the body. So he's still pretending like they're going to come back
And the
or
whole
something.
nation thinks that he's just a man who lost his wife.
No, at this point, people are like, bullshit. So he finally has to give an interview because he's been dodging interviews for weeks. And finally, they're like, dude, you look so guilty. Do an interview. So he does this interview, but he looked, only the bottom of his face moves. The top of his face never moves, never shows any expression. He's just like, it's like a marionette. His bottom, watch it, and it's disgusting. He sucks so much. He's such a fucking sociopath. To murder your pregnant 8.5-month, and they find a journal entry from Laci, and she's like, today I felt the baby kick, and I put Scott's hand on it, and for the first time, Scott could feel it. It's so nice to have someone else feel what I've been feeling alone for months now. And Scott didn't really react. He acted like he didn't care. In parentheses, but I know he does. It's like this guy didn't give a fuck. He's lying. And so here's my problem. Amber Fry is lauded as a hero, which I will say she is because her testimony really convicted him because they found the bodies wash up and everything, but they in the bay where he was fishing 100 miles from Modesto where she went missing. So like everything's pointing to Scott in terms of circumstantially, but there's no like actual hard evidence to put him murdering her. Because he did it quietly, which is a quiet kill is for a pussy. It's when there won't be any evidence. It's a strangulation or it's a suffocation. And anyway, so so then Amber Fry, because she gets him on tape, they record all these calls where she's like, Scott, like, what are you doing? And he's lying about being I want to be with you forever.
Wait, why did she have him on tape?
Because the cops found her before she told him that she knew about it. She's playing dumb like she doesn't watch the
I got
news.
it.
So he's keeping up like he's just this guy who lost his wife. She has no idea, but she knows, right? So she's recording all the stuff, and then finally it gets leaked to the press. So she has to be like, Scott, I know what's going on. Here's what I would have done if I were the cops, and tell me I'm not fucking brilliant. If you want to get a confession of Scott Peterson, have Amber Fry, who's the only one in his court right now. I mean, his family believes his innocence. Have Amber Fry go, Scott, listen, I'm looking at the news. It looks like you did this. And honestly, I don't want you to go to prison for it. If you did this, please let me help you cover it up. Let's go early in the morning. Tell me what you did with her. I will go comb the beaches and look for evidence so that they don't find it first. Like, I want to be with you and I want to keep you out of prison. If you did this, I can forgive you. You did it for us. You did it for me and Aliyah, her daughter. I would have sounded horny about the fact that he murdered his wife. I would have told Amber to get horny about it because Scott is such a fucking idiot. All of a sudden, he literally thought that his wife's disappearance people would be like, oh, I guess she's gone. And then he could move on with his life. So the room, by the way, that he said he can't go in anymore because it's until I have a baby to put in that room, I can't even walk in it. The cops hear that interview and they go, let's get a warrant for, let's search his house again and see what's going on in the house. He sold Laci's car. Her shit is strewn about everywhere, not waiting for his wife to come back. And Connor's bedroom, that was this perfect angelic little nursery, is strewn with shit. It is a storage room now. So this is not a man waiting for his disappearing wife to. He's such a fucking idiot. So I would have just made Amber sound horny for it. Huh.
So just pause on your setting Amber up against Scott to try to get a confession or whatever. So I think probably the police didn't want to do that because it would endanger her life in case he snapped or something.
Great point. The cops should have paid for 24-hour security for her during that time before they could get a confession.
Oh, like witness
Because
protection. Yes.
that would be what's that cost over a course of 2 months if that would take that long? Because they're gonna get him. I mean, they know he's guilty. $100,000 at most. That would be worth it to them to spend to get her to get a confession, because it would have worked. So I was thinking about that. Yeah, she needs security because he would probably try to kill her, but he actually wouldn't have, because he's such a fucking pussy. He's just like, I hate him so much. Anyone who thinks he's innocent, it's like insane to me.
So he's in prison now?
Oh yeah, he got fucking death penalty, but then they overturned it in 2020. And now he's just sentenced to life without parole. But he's such a scum, and his poor family believes he's innocent, and they really seem like great people. And it just shows you the power of denial. Like, you just can't imagine someone you love would do this to someone else that you love, and so you just have to think of a reason why he wouldn't. Like, why would he search the tides?
This is an instance where I think Laci probably should have looked through his phone.
Oh my god!
That's justified.
That's a really good point.
If you're about to get murdered,
really
I think it's
point.
okay.
That's the thing. Chris was watching this with me, and he goes, "Is there any, like, does Laci ever tell her friends, like, this guy sucks or whatever?" They were like, I go, "No, there's really nothing except that diary entry." She was so in love with him, and that's what her mom says. It's really sad, but at the end of the thing, they say the number one. This is so tragic. But it just makes you realize the number one cause of death for pregnant women is homicide at the hands of
out of all things, even pregnancy itself.
I mean, that's what it said. The number one cause of death in women who are pregnant is homicide. And then also Laci's best friends at the end were like, a lot's changed since then. We just tell each other everything now, because we learned that we didn't know what was going on in our best friend's life. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what women have to do because of male unpredictable violence. No offense, Brian. Like, this is not all men, #whatever. Women, these women now have to, like, talk about the deep interworkings of their relationships with their friends in case they might get murdered by their husbands. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
And it's not men's fault. You guys are
No,
yes, it's not all men, obviously, but this is a problem. I
have to defend Jordan Peterson now because I'm a man. Listen, having a baby's hard. I mean, he didn't want,
it's not Jordan Peterson, it's Scott Peterson, but yeah.
Jordan.
Two sides of the same coin.
Wow, wait. Jordan Peterson is that internet guy?
Yeah, he's the guy that...
Oh, God. Wait, Jordan Peterson killed his wife in 2003?
No. Jordan Peterson, Lizzie Cooperman said he has chronic... what's the vocal fry? He really does. He has, like, a girl's vocal fry. The thing that, like, women are hated for so much, where they're like, talk like this. Like, he has chronic like this.
He's got a weird voice. A lot of internet famous people have weird voices.
RFK? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like RFK, Charlie Kirk, a lot of people. I don't know. I can't think of the other guy.
Yeah, voices are a thing. I just can't believe that some people walk around with the voices that they have, and I just sometimes want to just,
like, I will literally, like, hear a girl, like, talking like this.
Yeah.
And, like, and that's not, it's, like, not her fault that her voice is like that, but, like, I just, like, want to walk around someday, like, with a voice like this and, like, see what people do. Like, because it's not that weird. It's like, it's not that abnormal to hear someone with a voice like that.
If you weren't famous, I would say 100% do that for a day, and as like a social experiment.
To just, like, walk around like this with a voice like this. Like, I could. It's not that hard to do. But
you probably get hit on a lot more.
Yeah, possibly.
That's why they do it. It becomes an affectation.
I do come here often.
All right, we got to go to break. We'll be back with more after this. What do you got, Brian?
So I tried this thing a couple of days ago that I think you're going to really appreciate and probably even adopt.
Oh,
I had something I wanted to say to someone that was, like, very effusive, complimentary, emotional. I just wanted to say, like, how much I appreciated somebody.
No.
But I did not want to hear all of the shit that comes after it. Like, oh, thank you for saying that. Like, oh, I mean so much to you, blah, blah, like as a response.
Yeah, you didn't want them to have to reflexively give it back to you.
Exactly. Or just like, say whatever the bullshit is. So I called this person up and I said, listen, I'm going to tell you these things and I'm going to hang up the phone. I do not want a response. I just want to tell you these things. So
I love this.
I said all these things. I said for like 3 minutes, I was getting a little choked up. And then I said, and that's what I want to say, and goodbye. And I hung up. Haven't talked to the person since. Okay,
interesting. I really like this. I don't think it's quite fair what you're doing.
Oh no.
Because it is obviously you're doing something selfless in the sense that you're saying a bunch of compliments and you literally want nothing back. But sometimes people need, in order to actually take in a compliment, need to say things. Like, you're not giving them the opportunity to do the same to you. I guess you are, because they could call you back and say the same thing and say, just listen and don't you fucking say a thing.
They could have gotten me. God, they could have done that.
They should do that.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting thing. You often get a text from someone, that's like, you don't have to write back to this. We've all gotten that before, or an email being like, and then you always do.
Yeah.
But I do like when people say that, because when I say that, I really do mean it. And I think that's, I think I will adopt that, to be honest with you, because it is, sometimes I don't want to tell people how I feel about them, because it's too emotional, it's too vulnerable. I think it really is probably what you're doing, protecting you from like maybe crying and like hearing the things back and like intimacy.
Yes.
And because that's really uncomfortable to me too. And that's why a lot of times I will write how I feel about someone in a card. Like, that's always how I really, like, if someone's birthday or like some event, like if I get a card, I will really go to town emotionally in a card. And then they cannot read it in front of me. They have to read it alone, and maybe at a time where they don't even feel like they can text me back. And then that is how I can do it. But it really is for me to like keep
right. But
that. I don't want to get it back. I don't want to end up crying and hugging.
This instance was not like card appropriate. Like, it was like
no, but it's the same kind of.
I'm a huge fan of writing the emotional cards. I do it all the time. I do it not all the time. On occasion, I will do it if I really am feeling something.
Yeah.
And I'll
you know what I just
card.
learned actually about journaling. Which, I mean, I knew it was like very healthy to do it, but I didn't realize that there's like an oxytocin response in your brain. That's why it's so healthy.
When you journal at all?
Like anytime you journal or write something, especially if it's like about your feelings or like, like your day and your thoughts and stuff, there's a release of oxytocin.
No matter what you're writing, even if you're writing something bad, like I want to kill.
Probably not that. Well, a grocery list. No, that makes sense. I mean, journaling is so
raspberries, and then you feel amazing.
Yeah, journaling is pretty dope. I haven't done it for a really long time, but it is the answer to a lot of things, and you don't want to hear it, but it kind of is.
It's the same with the meditation. Just like, can we stop? And I get it. It's the solution.
I know,
everything.
and it will work, but it's just I don't want to do it. And or go outside and go for a walk, whatever it is. Put down your phone. But journaling, it's just so embarrassing sometimes to do, because you're just like, I'm just like writing to myself. So sometimes, and I think I probably shared this before, you write a letter to yourself from like God or whatever. And you just like say like, hey, I'm cool that you've been doing this. Or you just write from the perspective of someone else writing to you. And that's like a way to make it not feel so masturbatory, I guess. But yeah, that's a good one. I will say I got the fucking best DM of my life. Maybe of my life. A couple days ago. Final thought. I was driving home after 2 shows in Cape Girardeau, which was, 100 miles away from St. Louis. And so I was driving back to St. Louis. I was in the car with Sean O'Brien. He was driving. And I just was like, okay. So we all know that I missed 2 shows in Vienna to see my girl Taylor. And I was going to have a total of 22 shows that I had been to, which is an important number. In the end, after she closes up in Vancouver, I would have been to 22, which is a song she does. And it just was like a better number than 19 or than 20. But then I lost the 2 Vienna ones. So I was like, 20, which is great. I got to the 2. whatever.
It's got to be Eras tour because I mean I think in the future there'll be other tours and you'll get to 22.
No, it's got to be Eras because if all in all Taylor Swift shows I've been to now I guess one extra. So but yeah, it's just Eras. Like this has just been such a long running tour. It's just like I don't know. It just feels I wanted 22. And whatever. And also I'm going to see this kid perform this on Sunday. So that kind of counts as like I think a half at least because I think he's going to do at least half of the show. It's so exciting. But he has to turn in early because he has school the next day. But I am driving 2 hours to go see an 8-year-old perform Taylor Swift. Yeah. And I'm not going to be cute and be like, I'm just like, he's not a fan. His parents aren't fans. I'm a fan of his. I'm literally going because this kid, I'll tell you who it is because people might be interested. If you want to follow him, he's gone viral in the Swiftie community for sure. Kellen, K-E, and this is run by his neighbor, not his parents, like his parents' friends who are neighbors that have their permission. It's Kellen, Kellen .ITT. Kellen.ITT. And he's this little kid who's just really has a great voice. Great theatrics, dances like Taylor, sings like Taylor. I'm obsessed, and I'm gonna go watch him perform in his deck in the backyard of a small town in Michigan. And but anyway, so I'm driving home, and I checked my like message requests, which is where like you get people writing you who you don't follow, or I don't really understand it, but it's usually where the blue check marks land, and or like endorsement deals, or people being like, "We noticed that your engagement needs to come up. Do you want to join?" Or this is message request.
Oh, this is like deep. This 3 levels.
Yeah, this is where like if you have over, I think 10,000, you start getting a chance to have message requests. Anyway, it's just where celebrities who you don't follow will end up. So sometimes I find people like messaging me, and I check it once every couple of days or whatever. But it's a lot of people with 7 million followers, and they're guys like hanging by pools with sunglasses on that just say, "What's up, Nikki?" And it's like I don't go, "Who are you and what do you do?" Like this person's clearly bought followers, but 7 million. I'm not kidding you. These guys all have like are 22-year-olds with 7 million followers. Like it's. I'll send some of them to you, Brian. Please. It's insane.
Please.
And they just go, "Sup, Nikki." And so anyway, this guy, I'm not going to reveal who, but he goes, "Hey, I saw you were a fan of Taylor Swift, and I might reveal this later after I get permission. And I am this big deal." He didn't say I'm a big deal, but he was like, "You can have my." You can feel free to use and bring some friends to my suite in this town on these dates to the show or shows you want to go to." And I'm like, "Whoa. What the fuck?" Wow. And I'm like, "This is so nice, but I can't go because I know her whole schedule. And if I have a weekend off, I would already be going. Like I have every ticket to every show that I can go to already. And it's just not possible." So I go, "Let me just look at that weekend. Where am I? Like maybe I can move some stuff or like whatever, feign an illness." And it's Andrew's wedding. And I'm like, "Oh, I had that weekend blocked up for Andrew's wedding, which is on Saturday."
Okay.
And I go, "Where is his wedding?" 2 hours from where these shows are happening. So I said, hell yeah, I'll go. I'm going to go Friday to Eras, drive 2 hours, go to Andrew's wedding, then drive 2 hours the next night, go to Eras again on Sunday. I'm getting my 2 in. Wow. And I get to bring some friends with me in this box of this amazing guy who said that, he was like, "I just saw you talking about Taylor Swift and you seem like someone so fun to meet. You can bring your boyfriend." Like he knows, he's not trying to, that it's like, he knows I have a boyfriend. He was like, "We can get him some phone books to sit on because I know he's short." So he saw my special clearly. Like I think this is all from my special. And,
wow.
And I'm going, it's like, it's so amazing. And Taylor or Brenna, Andrew's fiance, has never seen Eras, and she is a huge Swiftie. She just couldn't find a way to go. And so I write to Andrew and Brenna. I'm like, "Hey, what are you guys doing the day after your wedding?" And they're like, "We might go to blah, 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 or we don't really know yet." And I go, "Do you want to go see Eras tour?" And they're like, "What?" And so Brenna starts crying.
Oh my God.
She's so excited. So the first night they're like a official couple They get to go, and Brenda goes, I don't even care about my wedding anymore. And I'm so excited that I get to take them for their wedding gift, and now I don't have to buy them a fucking toaster or whatever I was going to do.
Hell yeah.
But it's just so fun. I don't want to give away too much, but it's like, you could probably figure it out if you really wanted to. You could figure out when Andrew's getting married. I don't know if he's talked about it on his podcast, but like, yeah, it's, because I don't want to give away who to give the tickets or whatever, because it's someone involved with the whatever. But it's so fucking cool. I can't believe it. Things happen for a reason.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get 22 shows again. I get to go, and I have to say though, you know how I feel about a box seat. I love a box for like the people and the food and the private bathroom and the whole thing, but I gotta get up close. So I think I'm going to buy one ticket for the floor, and I think I'm going to buy one front row ticket for each of the shows I'm going to, just so like I can be in the box, but then I can go down to the floor like during Tortured Poets and all the things I want to. And like one ticket is like $14,000.
Oh my God.
For the front row. But I'm like, I think I need to do it. And I think it's if I know all my friends are up in the box and they're having a good time, and that this guy would be okay with me abandoning the box just for 1 or 2 sets or whatever, I might do that too. So I don't know. But I am so excited to go to Florida.
Well, do it. Buy the ticket for the first show and then see how that goes. Don't buy a ticket for each show early unless it's impossible.
Yeah, I think he can't be mad at me about this. Like, he has to understand that he's giving a drug addict, like he's giving me some cocaine, but I smoke crack, and I love the cocaine. Thank you so much for the piles and piles of cocaine, but I got to get a little crack, okay? And it's dirty. And it's expensive and it's harsh.
Shameful,
and I'm a little bit ashamed about it.
It's like going to the bathroom to do coke at a party. You're like, I gotta go step out for a minute, and then
there you
come
go.
back, you're all wired. It's like, what did you just do?
Yeah.
Based on the city where we're going to see this happen, it's part of the culture there to sneak off to the bathroom for some coke. So yeah, I'm just gonna sneak off to the bathroom to snort some T-Swift. And by the way, freaking out about the new I Can Do It With a Broken Heart video that shows behind the scenes of the Eras tour. It's so good. It's so fun. Her outfits are so cute. I have so much to say about that, but I'll probably just talk about it on Instagram Live this weekend. In Michigan, come see us. Battle Creek, Michigan, Friday and Saturday. Anya and me will be there. And then Sunday, I'm going to that Eras tour. We'll see you next week on the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Noah. Don't be cut. Bye-bye.